the music. Hold on. Oh my god. There we go. Hello, and welcome to the Adam Sandler podcast. The show where we take an unnecessarily deep dive into the disgusting career of Adam Sandler. I got a little tilted there because of the music, but we're live, and we are doing what I'm calling the season finale, in case we want to do more later. So I don't want to say this is the final episode, it's the season finale, but we're doing the last movie on our list this week. And oh, by the way, as always, Christopher, my trusty co-host, is here. Yes, we're talking about Uncut Gems. Finally, the movie that kind of started this this podcast, really, and we're finally watching it, or we have watched it, and we're going to talk about it. I don't know. Do we just gonna go right into it, or?
I mean, yeah, go right into the trailer.
Yeah, we'll watch the trailer first, and then.
Yeah.
I guess most people already know about this movie because it's the latest one, the one everyone's talking about. But we'll watch it.
But I mean, this is the first one where there could be people who hasn't seen the movie and actually want to see the movie.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So. Unless everybody watched it back in fucking January when we should have watched it. But still, let's watch a little bit of the trailer in 3, 2, 1, play.
How you doing, Holly? How's it going? Howard.
Good Pesach out.
All right, Larry, you're a Jew again. Welcome back.
I made a crazy risk, a gamble. And it's about to pay off.
So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds.
What do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. That's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree. I disagree, Gary.
What is that?
I started it.
Are you serious? You're taking my money all over town, placing bets.
I'm having very serious second thoughts.
Are you serious right now?
I know I fucked up.
Howard, where's the money right now?
Howard, got my money? Howard! Is it too late? I'm done. That means nothing. It meant nothing. Please. Give me another shot.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Right. So, well, I guess before we start, I think we should just mention that we were supposed to do this last week, but unforeseen circumstances. And like I mentioned to you, Christopher, just before this, it might have been a good thing or a bad thing, because today, the 13th of October, is actually Alan Covert's 56th birthday. I just thought we should mention that, since Alan Covert has been... I don't know, very integral in creating Adam Sandler's career, I should say.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end when he started producing everything. And I know both of us, for some reason, enjoyed whenever he was on screen.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable. It was always a little light in the darkness of all the movies. So just felt, we should mention that, since it is the Adam Sandler podcast. So yeah, happy birthday, Alan Covert.
Happy birthday.
Yes. But should we just talk about the movie?
Yeah, I think we just as we talked about last time.
Yeah.
We'll do a regular episode where we go through this movie, talk about it, and then at the end maybe we'll take a half hour, an hour, and just have a look back at about this entire career we painfully went through.
Yes, let's do that. All right. Yeah. So, well, since this is a new movie, I'm not gonna ask, have you seen this before? But
No.
before watching it, what was your feelings towards this when you first heard about it?
Well, okay, so this also is kind of integral to that we started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Because I heard about the movie Uncut Gems, that it was one of. Remember, this was back when I hadn't seen Spanglish or the Meyerowitz stories, and there was years since I saw Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
And yeah, so someone somewhere just told me that Adam Sandler's new movie Uncut Gem was one of his serious movies, and that it was really good. And when I heard it was a serious movie, I said, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. The few I've seen have been good. So yeah. And at that point, I still thought that Adam Sandler was a good actor, and that he, he was a good actor who chose the wrong movies. I mean, I gotta say, after going through everything, yeah, I was right. He's a good actor.
He is a good actor when he wants to. Yeah.
Yeah. So I heard about the movie, and then I was gonna see it, and then quite early on, before I ever made any arrangements to see it, you came along and proposed this entire thing.
I'm sorry.
Said, hey, you want to see Uncut Gem? Hang on, I got an idea. How about we see every Adam Sandler movie before that? Or was it my idea? Now I'm thinking of it. Could it have been mine?
I don't remember. There's probably somewhere some Facebook Messenger chats where we could look that up.
Yeah. Anyway, one of us proposed the idea, and because of that, I thought, well, that was the deal. We'll go through every one of Adam Sandler's movies, and then we end with this movie, who's supposed to be amazing. Gotta say though, between that point and the beginning of the year when this one was new and everyone was talking about it, and now it hasn't been that long, but it seems already kind of forgotten.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what happens with movies like this, because I mean, I don't want to get into that, but the movie industry nowadays, it's skewed very very heavily towards like big blockbuster movies. And just before this was released, we had Avengers Endgame and all that, and those are what's in the zeitgeist. Like, this movie got a lot of praise, and yeah, a lot of people talked about it at the time, but it doesn't stick in people's heads, in most people's heads. And it doesn't matter if it's like a great movie or just an okay movie. Like, for it to stick, it has to be either something or it has to be fucking like amazing. It needs to change the world in some way. And while this movie is very, 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 very good, it's not world changing.
Oh.
Just
yeah. So I mean that's my feelings before the movie, and yeah, as we said in this show, we talked about it, mentioned it from time to times. It's it didn't feel at any point, well, at least the few last months, that it could be so good that it was worth all this going up to it. So yeah, that was my feeling. I went into it positive, but didn't think it was gonna be
that good,
worth all this. But
worth
still
effort.
very good.
Yeah.
You?
Well, in the chat here first, Tatel is saying, I'm still not convinced Sandler is a good actor, despite seeing him in Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, and the Meyerowitz stories. If an actor requires a very specific kind of role to act well, is that really a good actor? I agree with that. I'll say this, he's not a very versatile actor, because even in Uncut Gems, it's kind of a typical Adam Sandler character.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. He definitely shows more range in this one, and we'll get to that. Yeah. But yeah, there is still Adam Sandler is in there. Let's see here. I guess you can say typecasting is a valid concept, but come on, if myself is the only character I can play, I'm not a good actor. Sure, yeah, sure. I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, my feelings on this was, I'm not sure if it was your idea or my idea to do this podcast, but I know that early on, at least, when this idea happened, it was kind of me, at least in my head, it was like, to show some defiance, like, oh, I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. He's not a great actor. We're gonna watch every one of his movies and tell everybody that he sucks, even if Uncut Gems is good. So, yeah, and I guess we've kind of done that. Because it's been mostly bad, but I was very excited to see it because I had heard about the Safdie brothers before this, and a few years before this, and I had seen their movie, the movie they did before, Good Time. I saw that like a year or two ago, I don't know, and I really liked that one. I don't know if you've seen that one, Good Time with
No, I haven't. I
Pattinson.
I haven't heard of him at all.
Oh, okay.
Before this.
They
haven't made that many movies, but
no, they made just made like 3, 4 maybe with this one.
I think it was, yeah, a lot of shorts though.
Oh sure, yeah, but those can get.
Yeah, they made 3, I think. Yeah, 3 before this one, before Uncle Gems.
Yeah, and I'd seen reviews and like video essays about their earlier movies, and that's because that's why I saw Good Time. So yeah, and then people said that, oh, Uncut Gems is even better than Good Times. Okay, so this should be pretty good then. So I was excited, but like you said, throughout this year, I was more and more like, I was doubting if this project was gonna taint the experience of Uncut Gems. But now having seen it, I don't think it has. Because spoilers, I really liked it. Yeah, so let's talk about the movie. What did you think of the movie?
I mean, it was good. It wasn't a masterpiece. It wasn't as good as people hyped it up to, I'd say. But I put that more on me than the movie.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned before the stream, this is one of those movies that's it's made for you to feel uncomfortable, stressed out, and yeah, really bad most of the time.
Oh yeah, it's a feel bad movie.
Yeah, and all that is building up to this last scene, where we get this sort of release, the acceleration, with when they're watching the game.
Yeah.
So I mean, it sets out to do a number of things, and it does all of those things amazingly. But at the end of the day, I don't really like anyone, and I don't really care about how it goes for anyone in the movie. And I think it has had a few messages that was kind of lost in the noise.
Okay.
Well, there's this message which they're just barely hinting at, that the movie is about how mistreated the workers who cut or mine the diamonds and the opals, versus the high society who doesn't even think about it, disregards them. And in the same way, the movie disregards that these people actually exists more than one scene.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the big messages that I got, but it felt like it kind of forgot about the message.
Yeah.
And there was, it's kind of, yeah, it's there's a lot of things like that bugged me. But yeah, it sets out to do a number of things. It does all of those things, and I can't point at anything in the movie that was bad, really. Just not really my taste, I'd say.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if someone asks me if it's a good movie, yeah, definitely, it's a great movie. But not for me, maybe.
All right. I don't know. I when we talked about it last week, I got the feeling you like super loved it. I don't know, but that's well. To paraphrase, you said we have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. And we do.
All right. Well.
But I got the feeling that you really love this one.
Yes, I really did. It's not like, it's definitely like on my top 10 for this year, but that's 2020 top 10 is gonna be very special. So,
Yeah.
but it probably would have been on anyway. Yeah, like I said before, I don't think this is gonna like redefine cinema or become like a classic or anything. And that's not because it's bad or anything. I think it's just because it feels very much like a product of its time in some way. It doesn't feel timeless. But overall, yes, I agree with most critics. I thought it was an amazing movie. Like you said, very hard to watch at sometimes, especially towards the end. I hyperventilated through the ending.
Yeah.
But I was kind of prepared for that because like Good Time is also a very, very hectic movie. But this one was even worse. So yeah, and I just it's hard to specifically point out what made it so good, other than saying just everything meshed so well. I think the cinematography worked really well with the actors, and the editing, like everything worked to make the tempo of the movie like pick up. It was really, really high pace throughout the entire movie, and that was, I guess, kind of the point. But yeah, I agree with the themes about the African miners, because it starts with them. The movie starts in Africa with them finding this big whatever it is. Well, gem. It's a gem. And I thought that was kind of fun because it looked just like a Safdie Brothers movie, but it took place in Africa, which they've only done like urban movies taking place in big cities. So it was kind of fun to see that, because it looked exactly like their kind of movie, but in a cave. Oh, okay. And I just, it was so, yeah. I guess that it's mostly the directors. Like, they really kept everything so, it was so tight, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Everything was so, like, it was like sharpened to the finest point. Everything. Like directing, acting, music, editing, and all just to make you feel bad, which is very admirable.
I gotta say, I think that was the best in the entire movie. That it was the music and how the sound design. It was amazing. I was masterful.
Yeah. It was, and just all. Being able to direct the scenes where everyone's talking over each other and still make the scenes make sense, it made me think of Michael Bay, actually, because he does the same thing, but not as well. I mean, I don't want to. This came out wrong, but that's actually something. If we're going to talk about something I enjoy with Michael Bay, it is that he can also direct very chaotic scenes, not the explosions and all that, but people talking over each other, people like walking, running, and talking over each other, and stuff happening in the background. He does that pretty well, and it becomes like you find the coherence in the mess, but then he ruins it with all the explosions and stuff. This Uncut Gems did the same thing, but even better. And it all just turned into this like cacophony, but you understood what was going on. I thought it was really cool, and how they managed to make all the betting scenes really exciting. I mean, other people have done that too, but I have no idea how you do all these kind of weird bets that he did. I had no idea what he was talking about when he said the 6th and the 5th on the this guy and that guy, and I was, whoa, what? But then when the scenes played out, when you watched the basketball games, it made sense, and I was like, yes, screaming along with him, because it made sense, and I really enjoyed that too.
I did read that somewhere that the only movie where the most exhilarating part and the most action-filled part of the movie is people watching sports.
Yeah. Yeah, people watching sports, not sports.
Yeah. No. We don't even care about the people who actually play.
No, where we're watching the people watching sports. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really liked the movie. I might even love the movie. And that's and it's not in spite of Adam Sandler. It's partly because of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another one of a perfect role for him.
Yes.
I can't think of any other who could have played this character.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes it good when you can't think of I can't think of any other person who could have done this.
But on the other hand, as the comment says, yeah, that's because it is him.
Well, yeah, in some parts it is an Adam Sandler character, but I mean it's different enough to where you can see him being very irresponsible, and him he kind of does a voice in this movie a little bit. I mean, it's more of an accent, but it's kind of a voice.
The voice, it's slipped out from time to time.
yeah. But I guess that's kind of what he sounds like when he screams. So, which was a little jarring, but still, it worked. And I think while there was a lot of Sandler-isms in the character, I think it was different enough to make it interesting. It wasn't just a man-child who grows up. The character doesn't really, and I guess this is the nature of this kind of movie. He doesn't really have an arc.
No,
but the movie's not really about that.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I didn't really like. It's this. We have this character who starts out the same way he ends up.
Yeah.
And it's this story where we are dragged along through his, gambling addiction, to be frank.
Yeah.
We have this, and then it. Well, yeah, I guess it's spoilers as usual, but yeah. Then
I can just butt in. We have another person in the chat who said UNCUT GEMS ending was perfect in my opinion. And yeah, let's we can talk about that as well.
Yeah. And then at the end he gets everything he wants, but then he loses it.
Yeah.
And it's what are we supposed to take away with this? That's one of my issues, that you're left kind of empty and sort of dead inside of this extreme stress and exhilaration and the happiness and the low points and the high points, and then at the end, but did it?
Yeah, what was the point of it all?
Did it mean anything?
Yeah, exactly.
Did it?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, and again, I think that's sort of the point.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't die at the end.
Yeah. So let's talk about the ending, because I think the ending is very emblematic of the character.
Yeah.
Because the movie takes place over 2 or 3 days or something like that. I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah. And you very early on get the feeling that this is other than him getting this gem that he has been working for 17 months to get. This is nothing out of the ordinary for him. This is how he lives his life. Howard Ratner, Adam Sandler's character, constantly living a life of luxury, but at the same time scraping by paying off debt collectors and relatives who he owes money, and paying that guy to get this thing so he can pay that guy, and that he's created this kind of sort of created this world for himself, and because that's like, it's the environment he thrives in, basically. And not really thinking of, and that's also part of how the movie's always like takes place right here, right now. It's always what's happening right now, and that's kind of what he lives in the now, never really thinks about the future, and that's why when he gets like enough money to pay off at least a part of his debt to Arno, his relative, he goes and gambles the money away instead. Well, technically he won, but the bet was stopped. So that scene annoyed me.
But the ending, regarding the ending, what I was gonna say is that it is a perfect ending for this character, because there's no other way that his story could end. If he actually got his hands on the money, there's no chance he would give it to anyone. He would just gamble it away again. Yeah, and even if he paid everybody off, he wouldn't have that much money left. So he would use that money to, play some new bets, buy some new jewelry, and it would just start over. So and because of
it could only end
the best ending this character can have is, well, as it is, killed at the peak of his highest bet. Yeah. And his highest win in his entire life, when that adrenaline rush and that exhilaration, that's when his story ends, and that's the best way it could end for him.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if they're trying to make a point with that. I think it's just I think they just wanted to tell a story about this character, really. So and I had the same like feeling, like you talked about, like him hitting the highest of highs, and then it just abruptly ends when he dies. That was exactly where I felt, because when the game was over, I'm just gonna talk about the ending. So anyone hasn't seen it, sorry.
Well, I did say spoilers. So.
Yeah, exactly, and I think the people in the chat have seen it, because both people mentioned the ending. He's on top of the mountain, and he even says before that he makes the bet, when he gets the money from Kevin Garnett. He says, "This is how I win." So this is him winning. And yeah, like I said, it can't end any other way, because if he loses that high, it just goes back to what he did before. So the movie ramps up and up and up and up and up, and he keeps winning every bet he made. And he just needs another point, and he does it. And I was so relieved when that happened. That's when I started hyperventilating. I was like, oh, and then he wins. And then it's the second he opens that door, and the mafia guy, the Arno's henchman, just shoots him in the face. It was just like like someone just took the air out of me. I was like, oh. And that's exactly what happens in the movie. Yeah. So it was just so fucking well made. Then if it has a point or not, I don't think they're trying to make a point. I just think they wanted to tell an entertaining story in the best way possible.
Yeah, but was it entertaining though?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, and I'm not so sure for me. I think it's well made, definitely. It couldn't have been made in any better way. There's not one thing I would want to change, but I didn't take anything away from it, and I wasn't really having fun. I was just feeling bad feelings throughout the movie, and I mean, again, that's what they wanted to do, but is my life better or richer in any way for watching this movie?
I don't know. You'll have to answer that question.
I mean, no, but that's the question I'm asking myself.
Okay. Well, I see it like this. Okay. Entertaining was the wrong word because it's not like a movie you like laugh and rejoice at. It is like we said. It's a feel bad movie. I don't know if I said that before. I never felt good. I felt stressed. I felt nervous. I felt annoyed. But that was the point. And I kind of equate it to it's kind of the same reason why I listen to noise music. Specifically an artist called Yuboa, and she makes it's just noise. There's no instruments. It's just like glass shattering, her distorted screams, and it's not enjoyable, but it's well made, and it's different, and it's rewarding in another way than just being enjoyable. And at least for me, I think that is important as well. That trying to do something different and doing it well. And this is different from, it's not entertaining. And I mean, there's a bunch of movies that are not entertaining but good. I mean, I wouldn't call Schindler's List entertaining, but it's a good movie. But that definitely has a point, and it's a historical recollection. But I mean, it's not a feel-good movie, but it's a well-made movie.
It's not on the same level in horrible subject matter or horrible.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, the one I'm thinking of is this is sort of in the same ballpark as Irreversible.
Yeah, or Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, but I would say Requiem for a Dream has a point. I don't think Irreversible has a point. That's more as this one, Uncut Gem. There's a slice of life, a horrible slice of life. It's just you take I think that movie is like 24 hours, more maybe 48 hours.
Something like that, I think.
But so they take 48 hours or 24 hours, and this movie takes a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's still just a slice of life of a horrible situation with horrible people doing horrible things. They're both really well made. This one is better, obviously, but yeah, and I get that. If people say they love these movies, I get it. I get it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, it's just And I understand that definitely. But that is what I enjoy about it. They set out to do this very specific thing, the Safdie brothers, which is to make you feel uncomfortable and nervous, and they succeeded. And I think for me that is part of why I enjoy certain types of art, not because I enjoy it, but because I respect it, and then there is a certain amount of enjoyment in seeing this movie actually work. I enjoy that. I didn't enjoy the movie, but I enjoy the fact that it worked. So in that way, I really like the movie. But I can see why some people don't. Definitely. And like I said to you before we started streaming, I'm not going to rewatch this anytime soon. No. Hell no.
I was thinking of rewatching it, but then I decided not.
Yeah. Because it makes you nervous. That's not a nice feeling.
But if we roll back the tape a while or rewind, there are some things before the ending that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of interesting things to talk about.
All right.
And I think one thing that I really there are a lot of interesting details in how Howard, his name is right?
Yeah, Howard Ratner.
How Howard acts and how he is as a person.
Okay.
There's a lot of things like, for example, that he's only in a good mood, and he's only expressing any kind of love or respect for anyone when he got money, like in his hand.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things, like for example, this girlfriend who is the only kind of good person in the movie, I think.
Yeah, in a weird way. Yeah.
In a weird way. Yeah. So I don't think he ever says like "I love you" or something if it's not directly after a win.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
And things like that. And then when he is at his lowest point, and he's everything is shit, that's when he sort of comes to he decides to go back to his ex-wife or
Yeah.
his wife that he separated to.
Yeah.
Because there's it feels like there's these two parts of his life where he when he's on top, according to himself, then he deserves and he wants this high life with this new young girlfriend and the apartment and all those things. But when he's on the bottom, then he becomes more of a family man who wants to be with his kids, and
Yeah.
he wants his wife back, and it's like this. And the question is, which of these one is his real him, so to speak?
For me, I think they both kind of are, and neither is. I think it's sort of a third version of him that's kind of an amalgamation of both, because when he's on top, it's when he is the stakes are high, but the rewards are also high. He is what's it called? A gambling alcohol, a gambler, habitual gamer. What the hell is it called? A gambler.
He's addicted to gambling.
Addicted to gambling. Yeah. And he not just gambling on basketball games, gambling with everything, gambling with other other people's emotions, gambling with his own emotions, just gambling in general. I mean, he borrows the ring from Kevin Garnett and uses that to get money so he can pay off Arno, but instead of paying off Arno, he puts a bet so he can get more money to pay off Arno with. Because and that's why when he's at the end, when he has the money, he gets the money for the gem, he has enough money to pay off everyone and still have like a little bit left. He decides to just toss that money literally out the window and bet it on in Vegas. Because if he's not on top, he's nothing. That's why minutes before that scene, that's when he starts crying and confessing that he hates himself and he's nothing. He's a loser to his girlfriend, and he doesn't want to feel like that, and why he's at those moments early in the movie kind of wants to go back to his wife. I think it's because when he's kind of low, not that low, but kind of low, he kind of wants to like make a safe bet. And his family is a safe bet because it's there. And obviously, yeah, they've been talking about divorce because he's probably been unfaithful for years. But that's just the feeling I get. They're still there. They're not going anywhere because even if he has to pay alimony, his wife will never be able to live that life of luxury without him. So he can always, bet on them still being there when he needs them. So they're the safe bet. But he doesn't like the safe bet, so he's always trying to get the big one, the big win. Yeah. And that's what happens in the end. So I think that's what he's going for, really.
Another thing that's kind of interesting, that's one of the best things in this movie. It's you really feel that there's a story behind everything.
Yeah.
Like every character has has a backstory, and there has this big how all these relationships are connected and how everyone knows people, and even like the when they are at the family thing,
Passover dinner.
Yeah, exactly. And they just quickly mentions that Arno is he's trying and he's not a real Jew or something like that.
Yeah, he married into the family. He's not a real Jew.
And you get this hint that there's so much more in everywhere, and that's I think one of the best parts. Makes everything feel so real.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's partly why there is not because of the money as well, but that's why there's a lot of bad blood between Arno and Howard.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Because Arno probably feels pretty like he's been used by Howard. He just basically took his money and he's not paying it back, and that's because he's married into the family. He's not real family, so he's being exploited. That's the word, exploited.
Yeah. And then there's this thing with Arno and his henchmen.
Yeah.
Where that power dynamic is kind of weird, and you feel that there's something more here, but we never see that. We never get to know what happened, because it feels sort of like that's the feeling I got, that Arno just hired these thugs from nowhere just because. Not that he's probably not even like a criminal. He's probably just a businessman.
Yeah, and we kind of see that during the Passover dinner. And Howard even mentions that, oh, you're not a big tough guy without your gorillas here, or goons, or whatever he says. Yeah, because he's just he doesn't even talk to Howard. He just knocks on the bathroom door and like, can I get in here? And Howard is all in his face all of a sudden, being all like hot shot and like, oh, fuck you, Arno. But because that's kind of what Arno's character is. He doesn't have the respect he feels he deserves. So he hires these guys to strong arm Howard, which kind of bites him in the ass in the end as well.
Yeah, in a big way.
In a big way, because he probably paid them like, I don't know, like let's say $1,000 or whatever, like an hour or whatever. And then they realize that they're helping him to get back hundreds of thousands of dollars from a guy that's worth like $1 million now. Like, why are we getting paid peanuts when we can just take this for ourselves? These are two meek Jews. We can just strong arm both of them and take their money. That's what happens in the end.
Well, yes and no. They're not taking the winnings.
No, that's true. But they kill both of them and take all the jewelry.
Yeah, but I do think it's more not that much about the money. I think it's more of the humiliation.
Oh sure, yeah, that too, definitely.
And that's why they and I think that when they steal the diamonds from the shop, it's more of an afterthought.
Yeah.
While we're here, because these people, especially the leader guy or whatever.
Yeah, the guy with the gun.
Yeah. You sense that through the entire movie that he's a loose cannon who who doesn't really care about anything except himself.
Yeah, and he like he says when he's stuck in that the security door thing, like he says you'll get yours, and at that point he doesn't care whether Howard has the money or not. He's gonna kill him because he's done with this, and that's what he does. They could have got, if they waited just a few more hours, they could have gotten the money from Howard when the girlfriend came back with the money, but that didn't matter to him. He was just wanted to be done with this, so he shot him. And then it was just let's just take his stuff. Who cares? Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, they in that way, they kind of both got in over their heads, both Arno and Howard, because of this. And that's also, I guess, a way to show how Howard's behavior affects the rest of his family, because what's his name? Judd Hirsch's character Gooey, who he kind of forces to bet or at the auction, bid on the gem, and he has to buy it for $190,000. That it's just it. It's just another thing where he doesn't show his family respect, and then that spills out over his family. Like his problem spills out over his family.
I do think I'm not sure they don't spell it out, but it feels like that's the only bet he actually pays back though.
Because he gets the money, so he can just transfer it over directly.
Yeah, but that's the only time he actually gets money and doesn't bet. He actually pays back his debt directly. So I think there's some sense of honor in family at
Oh,
that
sure,
point.
yeah, because Judd
So he's
Hirsch's
not- he's not-
character feels like he's like kind of like the patriarch of that family.
Yeah, while Arno is just yeah.
Yeah,
May-
he's
maybe
the guy that married
maybe
into the family.
yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting details here and there.
There's a lot going on, and none of the characters feel superfluous. There's no
No.
like unnecessary characters. I guess maybe the kid who goes along with the auctions to get some autographs from Kevin Garnett. That's about it. But he's barely in the movie. But
No.
like, Kevin Garnett, he becomes part of the story. He's not just like a famous cameo bit. He has a point in the story. Even The Weeknd kind of has a point in the story.
Yeah.
They don't just go to a Weeknd concert because and all characters serve a purpose, which was nice.
Yeah. I only have one when this. As you said before, that this movie is really tight.
Yeah.
And nothing is superfluous. Everything is needed, and there's one scene which wouldn't have been a problem in any other movie, but because this movie is so tight, I don't like it, because there's one scene you can cut out that doesn't do anything.
What? Which one?
And I was kind of annoyed of that.
Okay.
That it's small thing. It's the point where him what is his name? The guy who brings the watches guy.
Oh, the man, Lakeith Stanfield, Damani or something.
Yeah.
Damani.
Damani,
Damani.
yeah, Damani. When Damani sort of quits and pours soda into his aquarium.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that scene, it's really chaotic, and there's a lot of things happening at the same time, and there's this resolution of a plot I didn't know we had, where he didn't have cancer.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
No, I'm just trying to like, is there a point to that?
No,
I'm
because
not sure.
what I was completely certain of, because it's so chaotic and so many people in the room, and like 4 or 5 people are talking at the same time, and there's the fishes, you need to get the fishes, and he's going through the vault for the watches, and then he screams, and I was 100% certain that he was gonna steal the opal at that point.
Oh yeah.
That he was gonna take it, because you sold my watches, I'm gonna take this and just leave.
Yeah, I was worried about that throughout. As soon as he got it
Yeah.
back, I was like, someone's gonna take it. Please don't just carry it around. Someone's gonna take it. Yeah, okay, sorry.
But then after, and he didn't do it, I was like, but what was the point of that scene? There was no reason for this scene at all.
I don't know.
So yeah, the scene
Fuck.
it's a great scene. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
looks good, and you get the feelings and all these things, and a lot of things happening. But yeah, in any other movie it would be great. But in this movie, because this movie is so tight and uses every second, we have this scene like sort of at the third act, doesn't do anything. It bugged me. It stayed with me, just that scene, because of that reason.
Could it be? I'm just thinking now, like, and you just mentioned it. The third act. Could it be that throughout the movie he has he's kind of had this extra bit of worry with the doctor calling him about the colon cancer, and when he realizes that, oh my god, I don't have cancer, like maybe my luck's about to change, and that's kind of what pushes him into the third act. Maybe.
I mean, that's grasping at straws.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it would have been a great. I'm thinking maybe there was something cut. That the plot point with the doctor was a bigger part before in the script, or at least that it was brought up a lot of times, because it's never brought up.
No, he doesn't mention it to anyone.
No, so if he mentioned it here and there about this worry then that scene would make sense. But I don't know.
Well, for
And-
me,
and-
at least early in the movie, before you realize that his entire life has been like this, I got the feeling that he's very on edge and kind of annoyed because he might have cancer. So at least in the beginning of the movie, the whole cancer thing made sense. But then he realized, oh, he doesn't care about the cancer. He doesn't have time to care about the cancer. So
Yeah, I forgot about it as soon as the title screen came up. I think.
okay.
Because it's because it's never mentioned again. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, there could be a case to make that it's that is wrapping up the money thread.
Yeah.
That he's been stealing the watches, because that's a going through the movie
That's
that
yeah.
he's
He gives
giving
watches out
out
to
the
everyone.
yeah, that the money's like, hey, where's all the watches?
Yeah.
But there's no consequences to it.
No.
They just bring up, oh, this is where I got all the watches. That's what I thought.
That's
Oh
true.
well.
All right. I mean.
So
Yeah. That it makes what you're saying makes sense. And maybe the whole cancer thing was more explored more before they cut it out. But maybe they kept as little as possible in, because there is a theme, because the movie starts up his ass and comes out of his ass. That's how the movie starts. Well, except for the mind thing, but when we see the gem after the title card, it literally goes through the gem and it comes out of his ass when the camera, and then in the end it goes in through the bullet wound and into his brain and back into the gem and I guess the universe.
no.
And for that reason, I think they kind of wanted to keep it in, because there's a thematic thing that ultimately Howard is a very egotistical person. So his entire universe is really just him, and they wanted to so the movie starts and ends with him, with only him.
Yeah.
And everything in the movie is just about him. And then he mentions when he first shows the stone to Kevin Garnett, he mentions that if you look really closely, you can see the universe in this, and that's what we see when we go into him. So maybe it's just the thematic thing that they wanted to keep. It's Otherwise, the ending wouldn't have made sense unless you had that first shot coming out of him, I suppose.
Yeah. Another thing regarding Gem, just a detail, which makes sense, doesn't need to be explained, but I think it's kind of cool. That they make the gem duller after he gets it appraised.
Oh.
It's not as shiny after he gets it appraised when he looks at it. and he like starts to rubbing at it to get the shine back.
All right. Man, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was hearing something with. What's that? There's a sound from my computer.
Oh, I can hear it.
Oh well. Yeah. So there's one I read about this regarding the ending. I'm not on board, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
So that it ends with because when he looks into the gem, you see the universe.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when he dies, when we go through his brain.
Yeah.
And there's two interpretations that I heard. One of them is that his entire life is running around is about gems. So he is that when we see his brain, it's all gems.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is that Howard is an uncut gem.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, that we see it is the same thing inside of him as it is inside of the gem, because he has his good qualities too, but he's just uncut. And if we, yeah, because I mean he does win every bet he does.
Yeah, that's true.
He's obviously has some really good side, and if he could just temper himself and calm down a bit, he could be rich and he could be a great person. So
Yeah.
So-
That makes sense. He's a diamond in the rough. Oh,
Yeah. So
he's
I'm,
something
I'm
in the rough at least. I don't know.
I'm not saying I fully am prescribed on these two theories, but there's interesting theories.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of what I like about movies like this. I mean, because it's all subjective. You can apply your own ideas to it. Not like because I've spoken ill about fan theories before, so I don't want to. These aren't fan theories, right? No, but I mean that you can apply your own thoughts and ideas to it, to thematics within the movie or themes in the movie. So yeah, both of those they make sense. That's maybe not what the directors had in mind, or maybe it was. Who knows? But that's what I like about it. That's kind of where I got the whole going out of him and going in of him in the end. It's just an idea, but that's what makes a good piece of art, that you can interpret it like that. In my opinion. But what I know.
I don't think I have anything. There's a lot of things to say about the movie, but I think I've said all the things I had to say. I could grab at straws and trying to find more things, but there's other things jumped out to me.
Yeah. The only other thing I just read like a couple of hours ago, and I'm not sure. I just wanted to mention it because there was nothing I'd thought about. The poster, which we had, the one we have as a background, the one where he has the bloody tissue in his nose and he's holding his face. There is a point to why he is holding his face like that, because he's actually covering up the bullet wound. That's exactly where he gets shot, and that was the directors haven't mentioned why they did it, but they have mentioned that it was deliberate for him to hold his hand to where he gets shot in the face. I don't know what that means, but it's something. I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have much more to say about the movie.
But there's
other than just going on about, oh, this was good and this was good and this was good.
Exactly. But you can really feel that they were thinking through this movie, and
I mean,
there's a lot of thought behind it.
They've had the idea for 10 years. They I guess had the idea or even wrote the script back in 2009. So
yeah,
but they didn't have the money to do it. But then they made good time, and everybody like, hey, take our money, do whatever you want. Like, yes, let's put Adam Sandler in a pulse pounding thriller. Yeah. So should we
the regulars then?
Yes. Well, there are no regulars in this one.
No.
And I just want to say about I actually spent I used Excel for the first time in my life. I mean, I've used Excel, but I've not actually sat down and typed stuff into Excel and tried to create a system where I could figure out what actors have been in what movies. And I spent about 5 hours trying to figure it out, and I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I mean, yeah, sure, I could have spent another 5 hours just going through the cast list like this, but it's not worth the time. I'm sorry. However, or should we rate the movie first?
Yeah, I think we should rate the movie, then we can go to the recap and the talking through this entire career.
Right. So let's pull up the final leaderboard, and there, yeah, right. So, what are we? Hold on. Just see. So let's pull up the final leaderboard. Looks like, and there. Oh, okay, we're fine. Sorry, I just looked because it looked like the screen was blank, but it's fine. We can all see what we're supposed to see.
Nah.
Anyway, so what will you be? What is your score from 1 to 100?
Yeah. So I think I'm not certain, but I think it's gonna be my highest score yet.
Yeah.
Because I think the movie deserves it. Not even though I didn't enjoy it that much, and I have my problems with it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 89.
89.
I don't think I went into the 90s with any other movie. Maybe.
No, I think the highest was actually My Robot Stories for you, 86.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. But so you're saying 89.
Yeah, 89.
89 out of 100. And I hadn't really thought of a score. I just knew it's gonna be a high one. But I think I'm gonna land somewhere in the same like realm. Yeah, I'm not gonna give it a perfect 10 or a perfect 100, but I'll give it a and to give it a 9, that is very high, or a 90. Oh, you know what? I'll follow your lead. I'll give it an 89, because it's yeah, for reasons I can't really state right now. It's not a future classic. So
No.
it's just shy of that. But
it is a movie I'm gonna bring up in conversation.
Oh yes, I'm gonna tell everybody to see it. Just really quickly. Sorry. I just this weekend I watched a horror movie with my dad, and it's the first time in years, and he is very susceptible to stuff like that. I just thought right now I should tell him to watch Uncut Gems, and he'll probably have a stroke.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want. Sure.
No, that's probably a bad idea. But anyway, yeah. So 89 out of 100. So I think it's the highest any of us have given a movie, and I thought we should actually look at that because I did something. I have some stats. I have some accumulated stats. So let's put the leaderboard away, like that, and save as image. Save. Let's pull up. I wrote some stuff down here. Stats for Sandler. So first of all, throughout this season, we have watched 57 hours of Adam Sandler movies. Each. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's counting Uncut Gems. It's 57 and change, but it's 57 hours, which is a lot. The average score, not counting Uncut Gems, because I did this yesterday, but I don't think it changes much. The average score for you was 41 out of 100, and the average score for me was 40. So we're pretty similar there.
That's kind of higher than I thought, though.
Yeah, but there were a couple of really high ones, and I guess you could probably say it's 42 for you now and 41 for me because of Uncut Gems. Because we had several movies up in the 70s and 80s. I think we both gave Spanglish somewhere in the 80s. I could actually look that up. And I mean, Reign Over Me got the high 70s and stuff like that. So that definitely helped. However, so the highest score, obviously, then Uncut Gems for you, and highest score for me was, Uncut Gems. Your lowest score, this is kind of fun. Your lowest score was the first movie we watched. It was Going Overboard. And coming up in second place was That's My Boy, which you gave a 1. And it's the only one you gave, I think. And then my lowest score, a 0, was That's My Boy. And my second place with a 1 was Going Overboard. So yeah, it's very similar.
Was that your only one too?
Let me look that up actually. I have all the leaderboards here. I think so. I think we actually gave. See if I can. I was thinking maybe Jack and Jill, but no. I gave Jack and Jill a 2. You gave it a 6. And then Grown Ups, you gave it a 6. I gave it an 8. Why the hell did I give Grown Ups an 8? I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
Arguing about change.
I guess, yeah. And I didn't look that up where we differed the most, because we were pretty similar. I think the one where the biggest gap was you gave Pixels a 13, and I gave it a 33.
Oh.
That's the biggest difference between us.
Yeah.
Score-wise. But yeah, that's that's it. Just a little recap.
Yeah, but I have some follow-up questions.
Oh, sure,
When
sure.
you have these scores in front of you.
Yeah.
So what's the top 5 worst ones
Oh.
with, if we take account both of us? Well, my worst 5 and your worst 5, score-wise.
Let's see here. Well, obviously then, in no specific order. For you, it's Going Overboard. That's the worst one for you. It's a 0. Then you gave That's My Boy a 1, so that's 2, and then Jack and Jill a 6, and Grown Ups a 6. That's okay. That's 5.
That's 4.
Oh, that's 4. Right, that was 4. Sorry. And then you gave Little Nicky a 9. So that's your top 5 worst, I suppose, or the worst.
And what's your 5 worst? See if we have the same or not.
It's similar. So my worst one is That's My Boy, and my second worst is Going Overboard. And then I gave let's see here. I gave Little Nicky a 4. And then Billy Madison a 5. You gave that a 15, so that was kind of a larger gap, but not as big as.
Yeah, and I think I was. It was because we went from Going Overboard to Billy Madison. It was such a leap for me.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I gave it so high.
Yeah, and I was probably shocked because I used to like Billy Madison when I was younger, and then watching it as an adult, I was like, what the hell? I was very surprised. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. I gave well, yeah, and then we were the same on I gave Grown Ups, no, Jack and Jill a 2, and then Grown Ups an 8. That's 5, and then the second after is Grown Ups 2, which was a 9. But those are the lowest ones. Yeah. Other than that, they were pretty, like 30s and 40s. Yeah. So our worsts were pretty similar, except for Billy Madison.
And I think there's really no reason, but just because. What's the top 5? The best 5?
Let's see here. Top 5.
I'm quite certain I know which movies they are, but
yeah. Well, highest of course, Uncut Gems, and then we both gave. Let's see. I was gonna say My Orbit Stories, but then we both gave My Orbit Stories. You gave an 86. I gave it an 81. And after that, it's where did Spanglish go? There it is. All right. No, yeah. You gave Punch Drunk Love an 82, and I gave it an 80. And then I gave Spanglish an 80, and you gave it a 70. Okay, that's a pretty big gap too. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
But I was so surprised by that one, so it got a little extra. But those, and then rounding out was of course Reign Over Me, which you both gave. You gave it a 78, I gave it a 75. So it was all the same movies.
Yeah, so there is no.
Yeah, no big surprises there.
No.
And
so yeah,
I didn't calculate it, but I was just gonna see if the movies like got better or worse. But honestly, there is no like graph. It's just up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's terrible in the beginning, but then at the end of the first leaderboard, we had Punch Drunk Love, which he then followed up with Anger Management and The Longest Yard and stuff like that. So it was never like a incline or a decline. He was just been consistently all over the place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what do you? Now we went through.
Yeah.
Every Adam Sandler movie made.
Oh yeah, and I even saw his latest one. You haven't seen it, right?
No, I won't see that.
Okay, yeah. You watched a little bit of our spoiler cast, but let me just tell it to you straight. Don't watch it. It's far from his worst, but it's terrible. So, anyway.
And he said that it was his worst? or something like that.
I don't know.
Somebody involved said this is the worst Adam Sandler movie yet.
Well, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Let's not talk too
someone's-
much about that one. But anyway, I mean, it looks like a movie. It has some fun ideas, but it's lazy, like every other.
As
Happy Madison
usual
movie.
then.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so going through all of this,
Yes.
there are a few questions that we asked at the beginning and a few times in between.
Yeah.
But now we can say with 100%.
Definitively.
First
yeah.
of all,
Yes.
is Adam Sandler a good actor?
That's the toughest one. Yes, he is.
I agree. He's a good actor who chooses to be bad, which makes him worse.
Exactly, because he has shown over and over again that if he just wants to, he can be great.
Yeah.
He just
But he
chooses,
just decides
yeah,
not to.
He chooses not to for some idiotic reason.
And that goes into the next question.
Right.
Does he deserve all the hate?
Yes.
Does he deserve that when you mention Adam Sandler, it goes, everyone in the room directly thinks of, yeah, that's gonna be low quality, lazy, bad movie with the stupid voice and a unfunny guy, and it's nothing to see.
I think yes. I think so. Oh my God! In the chat right now, good actor, bad person. Yes, and that's part of it because, and I talked a little bit about this in the last Spoilercast episode. First of all, he's made a lot more bad movies than good movies, so it's not like one right, whatever, right's another wrong or whatever. It doesn't matter because he's made much more wrong than he's done right.
Yeah.
And ultimately, even though he has shown that he can do movies like Spanglish or Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems, he has, throughout his entire career, chosen money over artistic integrity. And that, in my head at least, you when it comes to movies, sure, you need to strike a balance between the artistic and the economical, but he never struck a balance.
Yeah.
He just went straight for the cash cows, and then a couple of times for some reason chose to do a good job.
It goes back to what Ben Affleck said in Chainsaw Bob Strikes Back. First you do the money movie, then you do the artsy movie.
Yeah, but he didn't do that. He made money movie, and then all right, and a good movie.
Yeah.
Well, why?
So when I went into this, I was determined that he did not deserve the hate.
Okay.
He made bad movies, but he did not deserve, because I had seen that he is a good actor. There is a good actor in there.
Yeah.
But now, after going through everything, no, yeah, he deserves all the hate, because it's not like he's a good actor trapped in a contract. It's not like he's on. It's not like he's.
He makes the
Nicolas
contracts.
It's not like he's Nicolas Cage who's in big debt and needs to just take every job he can.
No.
This is a guy who has the money. He doesn't need to do these movies, but he decides to do these bad movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does deserve the hate.
Yeah. And Tattle said in the chat also, that's my boy alone is enough to warrant the hate. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That movie.
Yeah. If there's one movie that should end a career, it's that one.
I don't get it. No. I'm not for cancel culture, but someone needs to address that movie, goddamn.
Yeah.
It. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
And third and final question. Uncut Gems, was it worth it to have all this behind you? Did it make the movie better? Did it make the movie worse? Was it? Yeah.
I actually, it was a bit excessive to watch like almost 60 hours of Adam Sandler movie before, but I think it actually was sobering to see every aspect of Adam Sandler before watching this, because he got so much praise. I mean,
Yeah.
I just read today, I think I read, or a couple of days ago, even oh no, what's his name? Daniel Day-Lewis said that he deserves all the cred he got for this movie. Like he was so showered with praise for this movie.
Yeah.
And it's he deserved it, because it's a very, very good performance. But I think that if I hadn't watched all these movies that I hadn't seen before, if I hadn't watched That's My Boy or the Grown Ups movies or all the fucking Netflix movies, and I probably would have just said like, "Oh my God, yes, he's redeemed. He is an amazing actor. Like, he deserves to be on the fucking actors round table and stuff." But now, no, he doesn't. It pains me to say it, but he doesn't deserve it. It's a great performance, and he should. Well, he fucked up because he already made Hubie Halloween. I guess that was already shot, but like from here, God damn it, use this momentum. Do something good now in the twilight years of your career.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna. Not gonna.
I gotta say, I think the movie is worse because I saw the other ones, Uncut Gems. Because for me, the big problem is that, yeah, he did a great performance.
Yeah.
But it is the same performance. It's just more range to it, but it is the same character. It's the same. He does the same thing in Punch Drunk Love. He's a broken man with violence in his life. In Spanglish, okay, Spanglish is a different one. We go Reign Over Me instead.
Yeah. Okay.
So Reign Over Me. He's a broken man who has violence in his life. In Meyerowitz stories, he's a broken man who has tragedy in his life, not violence actually, but
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And even if we go to his comedy movies, it's the same character. Wedding Singer. He's a broken man. I mean, it is the same performance. It's just in the better light. It's just put in a better movie.
It's like we've said
that caters
before.
to that performance.
Yeah, that he needs the right director to work with him, or directors in this case. But I think this performance, it wasn't just that he had the right people around him to make him look good. I think he actually elevated the character. Now, and that's because one proof to that, or whatever, is that we both in the beginning said that we couldn't see anyone else playing this character.
No, because he has played this character for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Nobody could do it as good.
Okay, that's not how I saw it. I mean, because I saw it like, sure, someone else might have made it better. Another actor could have done it better, but I can't think of anyone that would do it better because he elevated it, and not because it's the same character. I get what you're saying, but for me at least, it's not that.
Yeah.
So I think that this is different enough. I mean, it has the qualities of an Adam Sandler character, and I'm pretty sure that's why they cast him in the movie. But he did something with for me at least, he elevated the character beyond just being an Adam Sandler character.
Yeah, it is his best performance yet.
Yes,
without a doubt.
It is
definitely. But I think it's because you see similarities to all his other performances in this performance. It doesn't. Yeah, as you said, as Daniel Day-Lewis, he plays different characters and immerses himself in those roles and plays. You can't see him in. I don't know what the character is, but the character in what is it called? Gangsters of New York?
Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York.
Gangs of New York.
The character in Gangs of New York and the character in Lincoln.
Yeah.
You can't see any similarities between those two roles. But in every Adam Sandler role, you see similarities to his other roles. You see small quirks. You see, in some, the voice or the violence or the screaming or the madness. you always see the small things all the time.
Yeah.
But I think because I now, after watching almost 60 hours of Adam Sandler, I see all those. I can point at any performance he makes and says, yeah, this is sort of like the character he plays in this movie, and this is sort of like the character in this movie, and because of that, it kind of loses some value for me. That I have seen the other ones.
So you should have watched the movie in a vacuum, basically.
Yeah,
That would have been better. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you showed Punch Drunk Love, Spanglish, Reign Over Me, My Red Stories, and Uncut Gems to someone, they would love Adam Sandler.
Yeah, they would think he's one of the best actors of all time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But it's all these things between those movies that makes them worse.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And that's why like I said, I don't think he deserves all the praise for this role. Yes, but to say like I know we discussed that early on, and that's why I want to do this podcast. All these videos coming out like, oh, were we wrong about Adam Sandler? Has Adam Sandler been good all this time? No, he hasn't.
No.
It was a really good performance, but he's done so much shit in between that we weren't sleeping on Adam Sandler. Tattle say so as well in the chat. I haven't watched all of the Sandler movies along with you, but most of them. Personally, the Meyerowitz stories, still have to copy paste that title, was my favorite. All right. And I can honestly say having seen so many previous movies took away a lot from it for me. So, like you, Seeing Sandler just low-key pisses me off at this point. And I can agree with that a little bit, maybe I should separate the actor from the movie, but at this point, it's just too much. Well, we're just coming out of the drunken stupor of this podcast now, so. And then I just associate his face with trash, and it's his own fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, getting some distance from this whole podcast thing, and hopefully he making another good movie and not like taking 10 years to do it. I'm not saying like he could start redeeming himself, but it would show some level of progress at least for him.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that.
Yeah,
I
think he.
No, go ahead. Because
I think he
changed my
could.
mind.
I think he could, if he just wanted to, and I would love to see that. I would love him to make a comedy and take it seriously.
Yeah.
With good writing and good comedy. Just, I would love to see. I think he could make a good career out of that. Well, the Netflix career he has now, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
if
yeah.
he just decides.
Oh, we should mention that also. This Uncut Gems, it was partly produced by Netflix, but this was his first time doing a movie that was shown in cinemas for the first time in 5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, Pixels was his last time he did a movie that was in theaters, and then there was this. So. Anyway, yeah, that's just a little tidbit.
So, do you think we could just? I was mentioning this last time. Well, off air, I think. Could we? Is it possible to go over his career and just what are the ages of his career or the periods that he has?
Okay.
Because I do think there is. When you look back at it, and when I see the whole list, you do see some kind of
a pattern.
Yeah, a pattern in some. So
I guess. I mean, yeah, we've talked a little bit about it before. Like, there's the different eras.
Yeah, eras. Yeah.
Yeah. I would call the first. Like the.
I would say. Going Overboard is its own thing.
That's kind of its own thing, yeah. Because
prehistoric era.
That's pre-SNL, because it's before it was on SNL, yeah. But then, and that was made in '89. So, but then
Yeah.
all the movies made in the '90s, they are very
Yeah.
similar. You have, except for maybe Bulletproof, but you have Billy Madison, Bulletproof, Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy, and Wedding Singer. Those were the ones he made in the '90s. And yeah, they. Oh, go ahead.
I would say like Billy Madison up to and including Mr. Deeds.
Okay.
I would say is the era that people say when he used to be good.
Yeah.
Like the Happy Madison when people looked at it as it's just a bunch of kids doing weird movies.
I think that's even before Happy Madison was a thing, right? I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Because I'm not sure when Happy Madison was formed. Actually.
No. Yeah, but it is the people, same people.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess
So,
that's the proto Happy Madison years, basically.
Yeah, that's the proto Happy Madison era.
Yeah.
And then he sort of stopped that. He did Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah, the Punch Drunk Love was like a bookend. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bookend of that one. And I wouldn't say that's in an era. That's just
No,
movie.
that's its own like it's a milestone.
yeah.
And then
we have, I'd say,
it's Anger Management, it's 51st Dates, it's Spanglish, it's in there, and also Reign Over Me. But I
Yeah.
guess this is
up into you don't mess with Sohan maybe.
Sohan. Yeah, exactly. Because then we have another. Because you can't really call Spanglish or Reign Over Me a milestone because it didn't really. It was in the middle of all these other terrible movies.
Yeah,
and it didn't
feels
change anything really.
yeah, and those movies feels like the same sort of way to make movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more refined. I guess if we go to maximizing profit and minimize as little creativity as possible.
Yeah.
This is if we call that refining, this is a more refined movies than the proto Happy Madison era.
Oh yeah, sure. But
with Anger Management up until You Don't Mess with Sohan.
Yeah.
Where there's some budget and there's, but it is and Click is there.
Oh yeah.
Bedtime Stories.
And also those movies, while they are part of his good performances, I would say those are in the lower rung of his good performances because they both kind of retain this. They don't have the. It's hard to say. They don't have the same that quality that Punch Drunk Love or Uncut Gems or My Robot Stories has. It's different. He's good in a regular movie. I don't know. I don't want to badmouth them because they're still good movies.
But it does feel like they're sort of trying different things here because there's a lot of things that is becoming it is a staple now was found in this era. Like if it First Dates, the first vacation movie.
Yeah, that's the first real vacation movie, right?
And then he does, I think it's the only one, but still, then he tries out Remake. Is Remake a thing with The Longest Yard?
Oh yeah, ugh, yeah.
And he tries out Disney with Bedtime Stories. Is that a thing?
He's made one. That's if there's anything that's admirable about him is, well, maybe because the movie wasn't a success, but he didn't become a Disney lackey. He didn't write a lifelong contract like you're gonna be in all our movies now. No. He made one Disney movie. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. And then Anger Management, a movie with a big celebrity.
Oh,
See if the name draws in people with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
We have Click, this movie with emotional, pulling the heartstrings, I'd say.
Yeah, it's him trying to make an emotional movie because I think he's actually involved in the writing in that one.
Yeah. And then You Don't Mess with the Sohan, who is sort of a superhero movie in his way,
Yes.
making movies. So yeah, this era is just trying what works, what doesn't work. Yeah, and Reign Over Me and Spanglish is trying like some serious stuff. What is working here? And just trying a lot of different things to see what works.
Yes, it's and I think some of these are the first Happy Madison movies. Yeah, and it's like the coming of age movies, and unfortunately when he grows up, yeah, we have the milestone then of funny people, where it looks like he's going to maybe make a change because he's kind of making fun of his earlier career, like, oh, this is interesting. And I know we talked about that, and then it's like, no, because he followed that up with Grown Ups.
So what would we call this era? It's just sort of.
I would call it like early Happy Madison, and that's not a fun
Early
name.
Happy Madison, yeah.
But then we have funny people as kind of a milestone for that bookend.
Yeah, as a bookend.
And then
we go into
the real Happy Madison movies. This is where now he knows what works after the early 2000s.
And this is the Happy Madison era.
Yes. Then we have
with
fucking
Grown Ups,
Jack and Jill. Just go with it. That's my boy. And Grown Ups 2. Then he sort of tried with The Cobbler, but geez, it didn't work.
Blended. Now thinking of it, Cobbler, isn't that like sort of he tries to make a superhero movie again after Sohan in the same
or this
vein?
It's
sort of?
Yeah, it's the same style. I guess it's if we're gonna get super nitpicky, I think that kind of movie is called like what the fuck is it called? Like fantastical reality or something, or hyper reality or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Sort of like same vein as a Fable, but without the talking animals. It's called something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then Blended. And then I would say, even though it's not that good of a movie, and if you can remind me what we give it for score, but Men, Women, and Children.
Yeah, we gave it middling scores. You gave it a 51, I gave it a 44. But it's kind of a bookend.
Yeah, it is the bookend of the Happy Madison era. Yeah. And then that is the Netflix era. Just straight up Netflix era.
Yeah, with Pixel thrown in there because...
Yeah, but the Pixels, it's... If I didn't know it went on... That it was on the cinema, I think it was a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
It feels like a Netflix movie.
So then it is the Netflix era. And we have some good stuff in there, because My Orwell Stories, I think, is part of the Netflix deal. I think so.
I'm pretty sure.
5. Yeah, I think so. 6 movies. Yeah. And then Uncut Gems, which wasn't produced, it was just distributed by Netflix. Yeah. So it's not a Netflix movie per se.
So we have the Happy Madison era, the early Happy Madison era, the Happy Madison era, and the Netflix era.
Yeah. No. And then some punctuations in between with good movies.
And if we just quickly could rank the eras.
Oh my god. Well, the worst I would say is the Happy Madison era, the 2010s. Yeah, that's my boy. Grown Ups movies, those movies.
That's number 4. That's the lowest, the worst era.
That's the lowest. After that, I would based on rankings, just off my gut feeling, I would say it's the proto Happy Madison.
Yeah, I'd say proto too. We remember, well, we don't anymore, but people remember it fondly.
Yeah.
But when you go back, it's not what we remember it was. It was a product of its time.
Yeah, except for Wedding Singer, there are no like really good movies in there. The best I gave except for Wedding Singer, the only one I gave a sort of good score was The Waterboy, which I gave a 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were pretty close by with Happy Gilmore. You gave it 55, but all the other ones are like lower than that. So yeah.
And then I would actually put the early Happy Madison era as the best one, and Netflix is number 2nd.
So then Netflix, and then last early Happy Madison. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Because early Happy Madison, well,
you have I liked 50 First Dates. I really liked Spanglish. I really liked Reign Over Me. So yeah, there's a lot of like solid movies in there.
Yeah, and again, that, as I said, that era feels like there's a lot of different things at least.
Yeah.
Netflix era is just the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the same.
It looks the same. It acts the same. With My Orwell Stories is
it's different.
Other thing.
It's its own thing. Yeah. It's very very different. I wish if if just go with it, that's part of the Happy Madison era. But that one sticks out a lot among the Netflix movies because, like, I scored the Netflix.
No, wait,
the
that's
Happy
not
Madison.
the Netflix.
No.
Just go with it.
That's I'm sorry, I meant Happy Madison. Out of the 2010s Happy Madison movies, I gave it a 9, I gave it a 2, I gave it a 0, I gave it an 8. But just go with it, I gave it 51. I enjoyed that because mostly because of the chemistry. And if that was part of the early and it kind of feels like an early Happy Madison movie, then I would probably put that as the best era. But unfortunately, that is part of the Happy Madison era. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we went over all the things we can say about this career.
Yeah, and just like with the scores, the different eras, it's all over the place. He hasn't gradually gotten better or worse. It's just, it's trash, it's good, it's terrible, it's great. Yeah, I don't know, all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let me do a follow-up question to you because I forgot to talk about that before. We talked about, we both agree that Uncut Gems did not redeem him.
No.
But we talked about hopefully him growing from this now, from winning awards and being an Academy Award nominated. Do you think if he continues to do good movies and maybe sometimes do a movie like Hubie Halloween, do you think he can redeem himself, or is it too late?
No, he can. He won't, but he can.
You think he could? Theoretically.
Yeah, if he starts, I mean, it doesn't even need to be Uncut Gems. I think he could do this anytime in his career.
Oh.
Just if he just starts making, money movie, artsy movie, be fine. I would redeem him. I mean,
Yeah.
At least he would gain my respect at least. I wouldn't forgive him for his past mistakes.
No,
he earned my respect, and I would be happy to give his movies a chance. But there's no chance he will do that, because if we look at his career, he had like 4 chances to do this, and every time people say, "Oh, is he gonna use this momentum to be?" No, he won't. No. I mean, as we said, it's funny people. That was a big thing. Everyone was talking about that. Oh, Adam Sandler doing a great job. Maybe he's critical against his own career. Maybe he's gonna change something. No.
He followed up with the worst movies of his career.
Yeah.
That's true. But I agree with you that he could redeem himself, and he could, like, in the inevitable end, which we're all going towards, he could be remembered as a good actor.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing also. We're in the minority. A lot of people like, and we talked about this before, a lot of people like his movies.
Yeah.
That's annoying also. Since we've started doing this, I've never heard so many people talk about Adam Sandler. Maybe it's just because I've had Adam Sandler in my head all the time.
Yeah.
But I've mentioned before Joe Rogan talking about, like, he thinks Adam Sandler is underappreciated. His comedies are really good, and he's because of the pandemic, and he has watched more movies. He's mentioned this with his family. They've had movie nights, and they've watched a lot of Adam Sandler movies. So consistently throughout this year, when we have talked about Adam Sandler, Joe Rogan on his podcast, because I listen to that pretty regularly, has mentioned Adam Sandler and said that his movies are so good, and it's so annoying to hear that all the time from comedians. And we mentioned another podcast by stand-up comedians talked about how good The Wrong Missy movie was, the Happy Madison produced movie. So in many people's heads, like, he doesn't have to redeem himself.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, because he makes funny movies, and that's most frustrating for me, that people don't get it. Or maybe it is like what most people don't want to think about. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe he is funny. I don't know.
Yeah, I stand by what I said.
Oh
once.
yeah,
I think
I do. But
I think it was back when I think it was when we saw Funny People.
Yeah.
That I am 100% certain that he is a comedian.
Yeah.
That he is great to have backstage. He's a funny guy to be around, and he tells these jokes that only comedians get. And probably a lot of his movies have these jokes that are fun for comedians, but not for regular people who's not in the business. So I think that's why he gets so many people in his movies, and why celebrities are talking so good about him.
Yeah, but then, a lot of his
Or
movies.
highly not good.
Yeah, a lot of his movies might not like. They're not like box office successes, but when regular people talk about Adam Sandler, I mean, it's overwhelmingly positive. You hear some people who agree with us.
Yeah.
But mostly like regular people, they think he's funny though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well. Yeah, I mean that's why I've been reading these user reviews in every movie.
Yeah.
Just to show that people do like it. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah, me neither. I don't. I kind of. Oh my god, this sounds so elitist. Sometimes I wish I could be on that level and just like it and just like stuff like that, like like it, but I don't. It's the curse of having a little bit of taste, I suppose. I'm sorry.
No, it's good we're not elitist at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have one more thing I want to talk about. It's an article I just found today. I don't need to read all of it because it's not that long, but it's a little too long. But I found this just before we started filming or streaming. And yeah, we watched 57 hours. We watched, 30, 40 movies or something? And yeah, it felt like a lot. However, there's this guy called Eloy Lugo who watched 638 hours of Adam Sandler movies in 1 year. So he obviously watched a lot of movies over and over again.
Right. I was thinking that's not possible.
He's not made that many movies yet.
No.
But yeah, so this is an article from IndieWire. It was when I was looking up trivia for Uncut Gems. It was in the associated articles section. So it's written just a few days ago, the 10th of October. So you might love Adam Sandler, but you don't love him more than Eloy Lugo. The Sandler superfan spent an entire year between September 9, 2017, which was Sandler's 51st birthday, of course, and September 9, 2018, watching one Sandler movie a day. Lugo's viewing experiment resulted in 638 hours spent watching Sandler movies over 365 days, which equates to nearly 2 hours of Sandler films each day. Yeah, we get it. It's one movie is about 2 hours, yeah. To mark the release of Sandler's new effort, Hubie Halloween. Yeah, sorry, that was a period there. To mark the release of Sandler's new effort, Hubie Halloween, Netflix asked Lugo to pen an essay about his love for the comedy icon. So maybe it's a little forced, I don't know, because Netflix tells you to do it, so you better do it. But this is also, it's kind of emblematic of why people like him, because it starts like this. I was 9 years old when I saw my first Adam Sandler movie. Lugo writes, every Friday, my grandmother would take my siblings and me to the theater after school. One late winter day in 95, she brought us to see Billy Madison. To my 4th grade brain, it was perfect. Billy was silly and weird, sweet and well-intentioned. Yeah. He would leave flaming bags of shit on strangers' porch, but he would also call a high school classmate he bullied to apologize for his behavior. Sandler's portrayal of this man-child stuck in permanent adolescence was performed with such gusto that I was immediately entranced by the actor, and I've stayed that way ever since. Yeah, and it goes on, but yeah, that's. And I just mentioned this also, like, it is like Adam Sandler's been like an integral part of his entire life. Like here, Lugo and his wife had their first dance to "Grow Old with You" from The Wedding Singer. In an homage to Billy Madison, Lugo has Rurudo, which I don't remember, tattooed on his arm. I don't know what that is, but do you remember Rurudo from Billy Madison?
No, but it's probably something he says.
Yeah, I guess. And then as his favorite Sandler performance, Lugo picks Uncut Gems. Elo Lugo also says Sandler just keeps getting better, as evidenced by his recent award-winning turn in the Safdie Brothers film. But if you actually look at it, he doesn't get better.
No.
He has peaks and valleys. Anyway, but yeah, that's basically what it talks about. But that is very, very emblematic of why a lot of people like Adam Sandler, I think. Because he is, at this point, he's made movies for almost 30 years. Well, it is 30 years if you count Going Overboard. It's 31 years this year. But other than that, it's 25 years or whatever. So yeah, I think like everyone who watches Adam Sandler now, I guess, has grown up with him, and that's why. And unless you had like a pause, like we had, both you and I didn't watch much Adam Sandler like in the 2010s, right?
No, I don't think I saw Adam Sandler movie for like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't have that distance, I think you kind of get stuck, just like Adam Sandler's characters are stuck in this, like I said, perpetual state of adolescence. Maybe you are as well because of these movies. Not in every facet of your life, of course. I'm not saying you're an idiot, but when it comes to comedy and Adam Sandler, you know, as he is stuck doing the same thing over and over again, so are you enjoying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And
maybe that's why he's so popular with his fans.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's the other thing. If you show a random Adam Sandler movie to someone who is not a fan since the 90s, they won't like it. My parents, they've probably seen his movies in the 90s, some of them, but they're not like Adam Sandler fans, and they as a coincidence watched The Wrong Missy, and they hated it.
Yeah.
Because they aren't fans since the early days.
Yeah, it is not that I'm saying it's bad, but I mean it's the sort of the same thing with the Nintendo things.
Yeah.
Super Mario and Zelda. It releases one every year, and it doesn't really matter if it's good or if it's bad. You're gonna play it because reminds you of your childhood, and it brings you back to a simpler time, which was better.
Yeah, it's nostalgia.
It's nostalgia, and
he plays a lot on nostalgia. I mean, look at Pixels.
Yeah.
Look at all a lot of movies, Anger Management, and some other movies. I don't remember. God damn it. They start with scenes of his childhood, like his character as a child.
I mean, the Grown-Ups.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
Grown-Ups. That's two movies just built around. Do you remember how good we had it when we were kids?
Yeah,
exactly.
I remember. Yeah. So that's I guess that's the formula, and it works for the most part.
It's not good, but it makes money.
It makes money.
People will watch it.
Yeah, but that's also because if we have looked at some of the box office numbers, and he has some successes, but mostly it's the formula is very specific. Like, it costs this exact amount of money, and it will make that exact amount of money plus just enough to like make it a success. So I guess they're not like super big successes, but they're successful enough that people keep paying him like millions of dollars for each movie. Yeah.
I mean, it is a safe bet, and you would be an idiot not to do it.
Yeah.
Just like, give me 1 million, and I'm gonna give you 1.5 million.
Yeah.
After I take my paycheck.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But then I can ask you, like I asked, or we talked about that on the spoiler cast for Hubie Halloween. For me, that's... I mean, while it's not illegal, definitely, what he's doing is not illegal, but it is kind of a scam. He just makes crap and says, I mean, not a, you know, it's not a scam, but because a scam is illegal. But you know, he's not making a movie to make a movie. He's making a movie to make money. That's also where the balance act comes in again.
That's some more philosophical questions where you are very... Your way of seeing it is very harsh, and I'm not as harsh as you, that movies doesn't have to be cinema or art. It can be just a fun... Well, to quote Scorsese, it's just a fun amusement park. It doesn't need to be anything more than a good time. I don't think it needs to be that.
And I agree. I agree that to some extent. Like, not every movie has to be Kino. But when it becomes so formulaic the way he's done it, like, at least I know, the Happy Madison era, the 2010s, and the Netflix movies, they all cost between $40 and $80 million. Just right down the middle, nothing else. There's no like highs and lows there. There's always $40 to $80 million, and they bring in 100 to just make it a successful enough, because he knows that that's exactly how much money he can take from producers and studios, and still give them enough back with minimal effort put into his movies. It's just a way for him to pay himself, and that's what's so annoying to me. Like, if he did that, like we said, if he did one movie like that and then one Uncut Gems or Spanglish, but he did this consistently throughout the 2000s and 2010s. That's what annoys me the most. He just did it to make money. Start a fucking company then. Don't make movies. That's my problem with it. And it is because, like you said, I'm very strict when it comes to that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, this side of Hollywood, the business side, all of Hollywood is business, but this, you know what I mean when I say this side of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what you get because of capitalism. That's how it works.
Yeah.
There's no sacred place where capitalism won't sneak in and just corrupt things. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
You can't, and I think it's in vain to be irritated about it.
I know.
It works. He does his thing, and it works. I just wish he would put more effort in it, because it's not good. But
yeah, but he is the poster boy for, like you said, capitalism in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, look at I'm not gonna argue for too long, but I just want to mention, look at Netflix. They have made so much money on, like, buying crap movies and making deals with whatever his name is, Adam Sandler. But then they have used that money to take some risks. They've let some newer, less experienced filmmakers make their little small weirdo movies. They let fucking David Lynch make a 17-minute short where he talks to a monkey. They make, like, little weird stuff like that, and they do, like, buy a lot of smaller movies and, let them, have a platform. They might not make as many ads about it and stuff. Like a movie like Paddleton. I don't know if you've seen Paddleton or heard about it.
No.
Oh, okay. So they failed there, but that's a great little movie made by the Duplass brothers, if you know who they are. Yeah, Jay and Mark Duplass, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this little nothing movie that would have never seen the light of day except for like on the Sundance Film Festival. But just because I was flipping through Netflix, I saw it. It was there. They took the time to at least buy the movie and put it on their big platform. Or same thing with one of my favorite movies this year, Horse Girl. That's a weird ass movie that would have never even been made unless Netflix stepped in and said, "Yeah, you can make this movie. Here, take your $2 million. Who cares? We have billions." So at least they have done some good with their platform. Happy Madison has just made Adam Sandler rich.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go that route, doesn't Adam Sandler does that too when he makes a profit for Netflix? I mean,
What? Well, yeah, sure, he's part of it.
if
But I mean,
if you're gonna talk about
as-
it in that way, that make some money to give it here, yeah, I mean,
but that's
he does
that's
in a way.
That's Netflix making money off of him, and well, vice versa. He makes money off of Netflix, but he has never used his money, his company, to like promote an up and coming artist. He pays his friends to make movies. I guess there's one instance where he actually made a movie that would have never been made that I actually like. It's not a good movie, but I like it. Strange Wilderness. Nobody would have paid for that movie to be made, but he did because his friends wrote it and directed it. That movie's terrible, but I love it. So that, I guess that is the one like shining example, I suppose. But other than that, he has just used this formula to make himself more money, and he's not even like trying to hide it. It's Netflix, at least, they hey, we push these indie filmmakers forward, but we're making money. Adam Sandler's just saying, I just want to make money. Pay me. And that's
well,
the
at least
problem.
he's honest about it. So,
I know he's honest.
And I mean that's in a way a good thing, because then you can just steer clear from that. Because he says, "Hi, I'm gonna make shit. You want to see crap? I got it.
That's
no,
true.
I'm fine. I'm just gonna walk past that."
All right, that's true.
Yeah.
Well,
That was the Adam Sandler podcast.
that was the Adam Sandler podcast. Yeah, it was a lot of work, and a little bit of a payoff here in the end. But I don't even remember. Was it worth it? For me, it kind of was, but not really.
I mean, it feels good in the same way it does when you finish a game that you hate playing. It's the same kind of feeling. I did it. I actually did it. Amazing.
It's finally over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Season 2.
We're gonna go back to some good movies in this live stream now.
Yes. So I did a few.
Oh right, just quickly, I did check it up. It was your idea.
It was my idea. Okay.
It was your idea.
It was my idea. Okay. Good. Yeah, but I know you were very enthusiastic in the beginning. That's
Yeah.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
No, it's been very nice to have someone to talk to in each episode like this. So that's I'm very happy for, very thankful for that. Yeah, but this was in the beginning. This was like a spin-off of the Please Don't live stream, but it kind of became its own thing pretty quickly. So yeah, I think we're gonna go back to doing Please Don't live streams eventually. Maybe take a break now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could use like a couple of weeks at least.
We can talk about it off screen.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, definitely if and when we continue doing live streams like this, yeah, we're gonna kind of go back to what we did before. Talk about movies we like. Talk about fun stuff, not just talk about Adam Sandler. Unless he makes another movie, then I guess we have to kind of bring it back. But that's also
you say that. You say that. Well,
that's also discussion.
we'll see.
And off-air discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for now, the Adam Sandler podcast is over, and I'm glad. I don't have to watch more Adam Sandler for a while, or for what? I don't have to watch it at all. I don't know why I said for a while. I'm so like, when the next movie comes out, I just gotta watch it. But no, I'm not gonna. So yeah. But I guess that's it. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, don't do this.
Yeah.
Watch the good ones.
Yeah. Watch the good ones, like we mentioned before.
Yeah.
And they're it's not that hard to like figure it out. It's Uncut Gems, it's Spanglish, it's Meyerowitz Stories, it's Reign Over Me, and Punch Drunk Love.
And Funny People. If you really like those 5, you can watch Funny People.
You can watch Funny People, but the rest, no. there's some gold nuggets in there. Like I like Wedding Singer and Just Go With It, but overall, nah, stick to those 5
Nah.
6 movies.
Yeah.
Right. So are we gonna wrap it up?
Yeah.
Right. So thank you for everyone watching. There's still some people watching. That's nice. But to most of you who are gonna watch this in the archives, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with us throughout this year. And if you wanna see more stuff, of course, hit the subscribe button and the little bell thing, so you're always updated when we release new videos. Just quickly plug, Spoilercast is gonna be all horror movies this October, because it's mandatory. You got to do horror movies in October. I'm also doing my childhood horror memories series on my channel this October. We're talking about Night of the Living Dead on Saturday. But other than that, just check out the channel. It's a bunch of good stuff there. Check out if you've missed any Adam Sandler episodes. Check those out, I suppose. I don't know if you wanna. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. But until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye, everyone.